Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the heavy cream and we're going to fold it in, but we're going to do more of a smashing motion. And what we're doing is we're trying to lighten up the peanut butter mixture that we created. So that way when we fold in the rest of the heavy cream, we won't lose as much volume. Now remember, when we whip heavy cream into whipped cream, we're creating air cells in the heavy cream. And this gives us volume, and it helps give it a different texture, which we can use for making mousse. Now, if you just go ahead and beat the hell out of it, and next thing you know, you don't have heavy whipped cream anymore, then you're really not doing anything more than just stirring in heavy cream. If you want to create a light mousse, you want to keep those air cells intact, which is why we lighten it by adding the lighter whipped cream into the heavier peanut butter mixture a little bit at a time. And that's the rule for almost anything when you fold. So we're going to go ahead and add the rest. Now, if you wanted to, you could just make this pie with just this peanut butter mousse. You could just double this recipe for the mousse and just use it to replace the chocolate. I like having the chocolate in there because it gives it some character and creates a nice dual layer. Plus, chocolate and peanut butter just go together so well. Just like Reese's peanut butter cups, chocolate and peanut butter M&Ms. What else? Snickers. I'm just naming all these candies, aren't I? Okay, now if your chocolate pastry cream has cooled, and what I mean by cool, I don't mean to room temperature, I mean cooled down to the temperature your refrigerator is, then we can go ahead and put this on top of the peanut butter mousse on top of the chocolate pastry cream. If the chocolate pastry cream is warm, all it's going to do is it's going to melt down the peanut butter mousse we just created, and that's just going to, we're going to lose air cells, and it's going to create a nice soupy mess, which we don't want. So if your chocolate pastry cream isn't quite ready, go ahead and leave this at room temperature. It'll be fine. You might lose some air cells, but it only takes about 30 minutes for the chocolate pastry cream to cool down, maybe about 45. So go ahead and time it out and keep that in mind. Okay, so once your pastry cream has cooled down, go ahead and take off the plastic. And scoop on your peanut butter mousse. Remember, your mousse is going to reflect your whipped cream. So if your whipped cream was on the stiffer side, it's going to be a little bit stiffer. So if it was on the softer side, it'd be a little bit softer. Remember, softer peaks have a little bit better of a texture when it comes to mouthfeel. Okay, go ahead and smooth this down or make it even. It's a little bit overfilling because I was able to keep a lot of the air cells, but that's okay. It's more pie. Alright, we're going to go ahead and refrigerate this and let it set up for about an hour. Okay, our peanut butter mousse is setting up in the refrigerator. While it's setting up, it'll be about an hour or two for it to set up really firm before you want to start piping or anything on it. So before give it a couple hours before you start doing this. But it's still in the refrigerator now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip up some whipped cream to pipe on top, or actually I'm just going to slap it on top and do a very rustic looking pie, and then decorate it a little bit. And what I have here is 16 ounces or 1 pound of heavy cream, which is also a pint of heavy cream, and 2 ounces of powdered sugar and 1/8 of an ounce of vanilla extract. When it comes to making whipped cream, it's very flexible. You don't have to have any specific ratios. You don't even have to use powdered sugar if you really don't feel like it. I just have a little bit of powdered sugar to help add some sweetness to it, since peanut butter has a very savory flavor to it. If you're doing something with a lot of caramel or whatever, you might want to dial down the sugar. It's all about proportion. It's all about, balancing out the flavor of whatever you're making. You don't want it to be too sweet, but you want it to have some flavor. So anyway, let's go ahead and whip this up to about medium peaks. Okay, we've got medium to stiff peaks, so let's go ahead and put this on our pie. Okay, so just take a spoon and dollop it on. You can also pipe it as well. I mean, I'm just doing a very rustic look. Okay, so I have kind of like a little mom-shaped design here. It's nothing fancy or whatever, but it does give it a little bit more character than just slapping it on and calling it a day. You can give it spikes by just like poking your spoon or whatever. Just experiment. I mean, this whipped cream is at a very great consistency for playing around with. If it's a little too stiff, it won't move as well as this whipped cream did. So you might want to stick to piping it. Okay, so I warmed up some peanut butter in the microwave for about 40 seconds. It's just one big spoonful, and I'm not even going to pipe it. I'm just going to drizzle it onto the pie. And then to finish it off, I broke up some Heath bars with a meat tenderizer. Just give it a good smashing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. Some of the bigger pieces I'm going to purposely put towards the edges, so that way they're not so eye-catching to the middle and looking kind of out of place. Alright, and there you go. There's our peanut butter pie. I'm going to go ahead and let this refrigerate overnight so the whipped cream can sit up. Otherwise, it's ready to serve. Remember, the whipped cream is softer now, so it's going to have a nicer mouthfeel, but it won't slice as cleanly. So if you want a cleaner slice, refrigerate it. If you're hungry now, or if you want a nice mouthfeel, go ahead and dig into it. Okay, and here's our peanut butter pie. Now you can also use Reese's peanut butter cups and Reese's peanut butter pieces if you want to have a more continuous peanut butter flavor throughout the pie. I like to have Heath bar because it has a really good strong crunch to help balance out all the really soft mousse and whipped cream layers. And don't forget the chocolate pastry cream. So I hope you learned a lot today. I hope you can use this really easy, simple recipe whenever you are having a last-minute dinner party. And remember, the Aubergine chef